Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, Demon Souls in 2026. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Bro, this game came out 6 years ago on PS5. The remake's old news, Elden Ring exists, why are we here? And honestly, fair question. I asked myself the same thing when I booted this up last month. I was expecting to make a quick nostalgia check video, maybe 5 minutes, dunk on the dated mechanics, and move on. But here's the thing. I ended up doing 3 full playthroughs, not because I'm a masochist, though that's debatable, but because Demon Souls in 2026 hits different. It feels like finding an old vinyl record that somehow sounds better than the Spotify version everyone's streaming. So if you're sitting there with a PS5 you finally managed to buy after the shortages, or you're a FromSoftware fan who jumped in at Elden Ring and never looked back, stick around, this one's for you. Let's get the basics out of the way for the 3 people who don't know. Demon Souls is Ground Zero, Patient Zero, the game that made FromSoftware go from those guys who made Armored Core to the kings of making you question your life choices. The original PS3 version in 2009 was so ahead of its time that Sony initially didn't even want to publish it in the West. They thought it was too hard, too weird, too Japanese. I don't know. The point is, they were wrong, and now we have an entire genre named after these games. The PS5 remake dropped in 2020, and Bluepoint Games, who are basically the remaster wizards at this point, they didn't just slap a fresh coat of paint on it. They rebuilt it from the ground up. New animations, new sound design, new mechanics, even some new content. It's the definitive version, no contest. But here's where it gets spicy. The remake sold 1.857 million copies as of 2022. That sounds impressive until you realize that's only about 15.8% of PS5 owners in the US. For context, Elden Ring moved 12 million in its first month, so Demon Souls, even remade beautifully, remains the niche's niche, the hipster's Souls game. Okay, look. I'm not going to sit here and pretend the graphics are cutting edge in 2026. We've seen Horizon Forbidden West. We've seen The Last of Us Part 1. We've seen what the PS5 can really do. But Demon Souls? It still looks stupidly good. I'm talking pause the game every 5 minutes to take screenshots good. The way light plays through the Tower of Latria's broken windows, the way fabric moves on character models, the way water pools in the Valley of Defilement. It's not just pretty, it's art. Bluepoint added this tessellation system that makes every surface feel tangible. You can see individual bricks in walls, crocks in stone, the grain on wooden doors. It's the kind of detail that makes other games feel flat. Like they're made of cardboard. And the load times? Non-existent. You die, you're back in the action before you can finish your swear word. On PS3, you could make tea during the loading screens. Now it's instant. That alone makes the game infinitely more playable. But here's my honest take. The graphics are almost too clean sometimes. The original had this grimy PS3-era jank that actually added to the oppressive atmosphere. The remake looks like a Hollywood fantasy film, which is gorgeous, but occasionally loses some of that original's raw, unpolished terror. Alright, let's talk structure, because this is where Demon Souls either hooks you or loses you completely. Unlike Dark Souls or Elden Ring, this isn't one big interconnected world. You've got the Nexus. Think of it as your sad, depressing home base, and from there you access 5 completely separate worlds through these things called Archstones. World 1, Bolitarian Palace, knights, dragons, classic medieval fantasy stuff. World 2, Stonefang Tunnel, lava, fire, miners with pickaxes that will ruin your day. World 3, Tower of Latria, prison towers, mind flayers, Cthulhu vibes. Worlds 4, Shrine of Storms, skeletons, storms, the reason you have trust issues. World 5, Valley of Defilement, poison swamps, plague, pure suffering. You can tackle these in almost any order after the first boss. Want to go straight to the skeletons? Go for it. Feel like punishing yourself in the poison swamp? Be my guest. Now, the Elden Ring fans in my comments are probably screaming, but open world is better, freedom. And yeah, I get it. Elden Ring lets you go anywhere, anytime. But here's the thing. Demon Souls contained levels are masterpieces of design. Every enemy placement matters. Every shortcut you unlock feels earned. Every level is a complete, digestible challenge. In 2026, when every game is trying to be 200 hours of open-world content, there's something refreshing about a game that respects your time by making every corridor meaningful. No filler, no copy-paste catacombs, just pure, distilled level design. The trade-off, if you get stuck on a boss, you can't just go explore somewhere else, you're stuck. Get good or go home. That's old school, and I respect it, but it's also why this game never hit mainstream. Okay, real talk. If you started with Elden Ring or even Dark Souls 3, the combat in Demon Souls is going to feel like you're moving through molasses. Your character is slow. The animations are deliberate. There's no poise system like Dark Souls. You can't spam roll in every direction or back to 4-directional rolling unless you're locked on. And when you die, your health gets cut in half. Not 10%, not 20%, half. Gone. You can get a ring that brings it up to 75%, but still half. This is where I lost my first playthrough. I kept trying to play it like Elden Ring, dodge, attack, and I got absolutely demolished because Demon Souls isn't about reaction times, it's about strategy. This game wants you to think like a tactician. What weapon works here? Should I use magic? Can I exploit the environment? Is there a cheese strat? The answer is almost always yes. Take the Flame Locker, everyone's favorite I quit moment. This thing is pure aggression, zero chill, but you can beat it at level 1 if you know what you're doing. Use the environment, learn the tells, maybe grab that Crescent Falcon from 4-1 first. It's about preparation, not perfection. The Royal class starts with a spell that one-shots most early enemies. The Temple Knight begins with a halberd that breaks the game. The Thief has a ring that makes you invisible to certain enemies. The game is telling you how to break it if you're paying attention. And that's the philosophy difference. Elden Ring and Dark Souls rewards skillful play. Demon Souls rewards smart play. It's an RPG first, action game second. In 2026, when every game is trying to be a combo-heavy spectacle fighter, this feels archaic, but also kind of brilliant. This is where I need to be honest with you guys. Some of the bosses in Demon Souls are not good, not by modern standards. The Dragon God? You don't even fight it. You play hide and seek with pillars and shoot it with ballistae. It's a puzzle, not a battle. The Storm King, same deal. You grab a special sword and it becomes a shooting gallery. The Fool's Idol, hit the right clone, kill the real one, ignore everything else. These are gimmick fights. They have a specific solution. Once you know it, they're trivial. And in 2026, after we've fought Melania, after we've faced Radon, after we've seen what FromSoftware can do when they commit to pure combat skill checks, these gimmicks feel dated. But here's the thing. The bosses that aren't gimmicks, the ones that are pure combat, they're incredible. The Penetrator, the Man-Eaters, Old King Elant. These fights are timeless. They test everything you've learned. They demand perfection. They feel like they could be DLC bosses in Elden Ring and nobody would blink. And the gimmick fights, they have a certain charm. They make you feel clever for figuring them out. They break up the pace. They're memorable, even if they're not hard. The real issue is the Man-Eater fight. 2 bosses, tiny arena, they could knock you off the bridge. It's infamous for a reason. And the AI still glitches sometimes, which is inexcusable in a $70 remake. Bluepoint fixed some bugs but not others, and that inconsistency is frustrating. Alright, I need to talk about world tendency, because this is the single biggest reason new players bounce off this game. World tendency is a hidden mechanic that tracks your actions in each world. Die in human form, the world shifts toward black tendency, making it harder. Kill a boss or help someone else, it shifts toward white tendency, making it easier. Sounds cool in theory. In practice, it's opaque, punishing, and actively discourages you from playing in human form, which is the only way to summon help or get invaded. So what do players do? They kill themselves in the Nexus immediately after beating a boss, over and over, because being in soul form is safer. You're literally incentivized to stay nerfed. In 2026, this system feels like an artifact from a time when games didn't explain anything and expected you to buy the strategy guide. It's not player-friendly, it's not intuitive, and Bluepoint didn't really fix it in the remake. They added messages to hint at it, but it's still this weird invisible wall between you and enjoying the multiplayer. And the multiplayer, let's talk about that. Should you play Demon's Souls in 2026? If you started with Elden Ring and loved it but found it overwhelming, yes, Demon's Souls is focused. It's 30-40 hours of pure, concentrated FromSoftware design. No filler, no 200-hour checklist, just 5 worlds that will test you and reward you. If you're a Dark Souls veteran who never went back to the original, absolutely. This is where it all started. You'll see the DNA of every future Souls game in these levels, and the remake quality is so high that it feels like a new game. If you're new to Souls-likes entirely, maybe. I'd still probably recommend Dark Souls 1 or Elden Ring first, just because they're more accessible. But if you want something that respects your intelligence and doesn't handhold, Demon's Souls will treat you like an adult. A masochistic adult, but an adult. If you just want to flex your PS5's graphics, it's literally still a showpiece. Nothing else looks this good while running this smoothly. The price is my biggest gripe. It's still $70 on the PS Store. For a 6-year-old remake of a 17-year-old game. That's insane. Wait for a sale. It drops to $40 sometimes, and at that price, it's a steal.